I hate my voice. I don't like listening to my voice. Why do most people hate their voice? As I'm getting into content, I'm noticing a lot of people comment on my posts and telling me that I'm doing great. They're also interested in content, and I'm asking them what's stopping them from getting started into content. And one of the responses I got back was, I hate my voice. I don't like listening to my voice. And then I thought, how could someone's voice keep them from posting content? Why is it that most people don't like their voice? Why would someone let their voice keep them away from a life that is on the other side of fear? And then it hit me. Your voice is your weapon. Your voice is also a tool for influence that God has given you to convey a message to other people. I find it ironic that the thing that God has given you as a tool to influence is the same tool that's being under attack by the enemy. We are in battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in heavenly realms. And there is a principality in this world that does not want you to discover your voice. The minute you discover your voice, you discover your weapon. Your message carries life within it, and it has the power to impact and influence someone. So I want you to beware of the strategy of the enemy that does not want you to discover and develop your voice. The first trick he'll tell you is that your voice is ugly. It's not worth listening to. If you don't find value in your voice, then why would your listener find value in it? Why would your audience find value in something that you don't value? The only way to turn your voice into a power tool is you must be the first person to value your voice. Your voice was made specifically for you. The voice is the only thing on the human body that cannot be transferred correctly. Medicine currently has not reached the level in which it could transfer your voice into someone else's. If they were able to transcribe and save a voice of a public speaker, do you know how many people would pay to sound like a great speaker? If they could sound like a Nelson Mandela, do you know how much money people would pay to reserve their voice? Your voice is so powerful that even AI is trying its best to try to sound like a voice that they heard. I've seen videos with celebrities where it doesn't quite sound like the celebrity, and technology and science, they're trying to catch up with this mechanism called the voice. Although they can replicate a lot of things, they have not figured out how to replicate the human voice. I'm saying all of that for you to understand how important your voice is, how unique your voice is, how powerful your voice is. Your voice is like a key that is designated to unlock the minds of the people who are meant to listen to you. And that is why most people hate their voice. They are carrying a weapon of mass destruction to the enemy. And if they figured out the power that their voice carried, the enemy would be terrified. It's important for you to discover the power in your voice and apply it to your purpose. Your voice is the vibranium that adds velocity to your message. In the Black Panther, there was this thing called vibranium. It was literally the power source of a country. It was the source that provided power behind the weapons and the force field around them. It provided power to the medicine that they used. And also, it was the mechanism that was used for the suit of the Black Panther. Your voice has that power as well. Once you understand the power of your voice and you master the art of communication, your whole life will start to be empowered because of how well you know how to use your voice. When it comes to social relationships, when it comes to negotiations, when it comes to ministry, when it comes to communication in general, your whole life will level up when you learn how to use your voice and when you learn how to use it effectively. But the first step of using your voice effectively and unlocking its power is falling in love with it. Once you come to that realization, you'll notice that your voice has become your secret weapon. I want to end this video with a testimony of this young lady who had a near-death experience.
I look up, and in the kitchen, I see this like huge white light coming from the ceiling to the floor. And it's just like, boom. And it's right there. And I just knew like, okay, that's home. Like that's where I'm supposed to go. So I had nowhere really else to go. No one was talking to me. I had no body. So I just like naturally moved into the light. But I saw my whole life like flash before my eyes. Every person I knew, everything I experienced. Like I don't know how it happened that fast, but I got to see my entire life all at once. So I basically said, I'm not ready to go. And then this voice, which was God, you just know, it's like this very familiar voice. that almost to me, what it sounded like was like the tone of everybody else's voice. It was like, this is the voice almost, and then each of us have like a different pitch, lower or higher. And like this was like the voice for all, and we all have like voices stemming off this voice. That's kind of what it was, so familiar to me, and I can't get over it.
What makes this story so special is the fact that she was not a believer. She was not Christian. It was this experience that brought her to God. She had a seizure and was able to see her body as if she was outside of her body, looking at her body laying down on the ground. And immediately after, she saw a bright light. As she saw that bright light, she started to get closer to the light, and she started to hear a voice from the heavens. And the voice said to her, "Are you ready to come to me?" And as she was listening to the voice, she started to see flashes from her life from beginning to end. And in that moment, it clicked that voice sounded familiar. She felt like she's heard that voice her whole life, but just in a different pitch, in a different tone. I'm a musician myself, so I understand pitch and I understand tone. It's as if God's great voice is a piano, and each of our voices are like little keys in this grand piano. Could it be that you carry a piece of God's voice, and I carry a piece of God's voice, and someone else carries a piece of God's voice? We're all carrying different pitches and tones of God's voice. That's just speculation. But I do believe that human beings were made in the image of God. And I do believe that there's a piece of himself that he has placed in us so that we can share with the earth. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that we carry a piece of his voice. Your voice is unique. Your voice is special. Your voice is powerful. Don't forget that your voice is a tool that is used for influence. The faster you discover your voice, the faster you will discover your audience. If you find this information valuable, subscribe to the channel. We are going to level up as we discover our voice and our purpose. God bless. Thanks for listening. Peace.